This is GARIS Masculist MGTOW flyers. That is 2 3-page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 203, entitled Grandfatherly Masculist Advice to a 17-year-old Fluffie. Flyer itself. Grandfatherly Masculist Advice to a 17-year-old Fluffie. The following dialogue occurred between me, 67, so it's a very early flyer, over 3 years old, because I'm just a matter of weeks I'll be 70, and a young woman half a century younger than me who is obviously a Fluffie. I hope you find it interesting, and if you are a young woman, enlightening, if not a bit scary. Now, the following paragraph is written by somebody called White Angel. I guess female. You think you are safe from paying money to us? Yeah, female. If you just stay away from women? Big smile. Then you don't understand why governments exist. Or who is the government? You will pay taxes for us. If you don't, guess what? We send you to jail, or we let you men kill each other like we women have done in the past. Kings, presidents, criminals and politicians and other powerful men are our drones. We will deal with MGTOWs fast. How about Third World War? And the following, ad-libbing now, and then the following paragraph written by somebody called Human Scale. If MGTOWs don't have children, then they will die in 100 years anyway. The one who rocks the cradle wins. Without children, MGTOW has no future. This is a fad that will die when they die, and all men who are MGTOWs today will die within 80 years from today. So, while others are breeding and keeping society going for many years to come, MGTOW will be dead. Problem solved. And here's my reply. I guess I only replied to Human Scale. Anyway, so this is from Prof. Hugo de Garis. Dear Human Scale, you are logically correct for the first generation of MGTOWs and Masculists, but how about subsequent generations? The rise of Masculist values, as they go as mainstream as feminist values, will influence most young males, so that they too utterly refuse to be parasited upon by Fluffies, resulting in nearly all women becoming career-competent FIPs, financially independent persons. Then the sexes can get back together again and make babies. Today's fluffy feminism is a historical anomaly. It will not last. The fluffy feminist dominated divorce courts and gender politicians cannot financially massacre men in their millions for too long. It's inevitable that men will rise up and become collectively very angry, and God help women and the politicians when that happens. This is the decade of male rebellion. We masculists will force fluffies to become FIPs. We will purge the fluffy feminists from the divorce courts. We will vote out and destroy the reputations of male feminists and fluffy feminist politicians and make males be respected again. Remember, we males outperform females on virtually any criterion you choose. Women should respect us because we can do things they can't do, like write symphonies, invent maths, the computer, the transistor. We build the skyscrapers. We make the world run. If women want to be as respected as men, they'll have to perform at male levels, pull their weight, and not parasite on men. 5 years from now, being labelled a fluffy will be the kiss of death to young women. They just won't get a man. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. Oh, there's more. From Prof. Hugo de Garis. So I did reply to the first woman. Not so, dear White Angel. I'm assuming you are a legit female. and that you are in your 20s. Your photo might be false. The first category of women that Masculists refuse to have relationships with are the misandrist, male-dumping feminists like yourself, followed by the fluffies who parasite on men, whom the Masculists are working towards to wipe out by forcing them to rot on the shelf until they become FIPs, financially independent people, who feel morally obliged to be FIPs. In your case, if you are in your 20s, try to imagine your future as manless, loveless, sexless, and especially childless. You'll be punished by the Masculists and MGTOWs by them simply ignoring you. A decade from now, you'll be an avid anti-feminist competing hard for the very few available robot males who still exist who are prepared to be parasited upon by fluffy parasites. Scared? So go fuck yourself, because men won't, or they might, but that's all they'll do with you. You should FIP up or rot on the shelf, you fluffy vermin, to be wiped out. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. Oh, perhaps I should read these first. To save time, I just read them straight. I haven't read this for 3 years. White Angel. I am 17, but Mr. Human Scale has absolute right, so I guess this is not a native English speaker. There is no danger in that. You MGTOWs can't reproduce. This is why there will always be men that will fall in love with us. This information relieves my mind very much. I feel sexy and cute again. And then I reply, Dear White Angel, Jesus, you're still a kid, half the age of my daughter. So some grandfatherly advice to you. Look at the current situation in Japan. A third of young men under 30 today refuse to have relationships with young women. Look up herbivore men. The West is going the same way. So by the time you're in your 30s and your biological clock is ticking hard, baby rabies, if you are not a fit, financially independent person who can afford to buy your own middle-class house and have a kid as a single mother, which is horrible for the kid, then probably you will start looking around desperately for a robot male, a traditional male who expects to be parasited upon by a fluffy wife. A fluffy is a traditional woman who expects to parasite off a man's money, to parasite upon, so that you can afford those things. But with the exponential rise of MGTOW and Masculism, the supply of such robot males is drying up fast. Thus you will either be forced to be a FIP by studying something that is career competent at university, or you'll be competing in panic mode with many other fluffy women for the very few robot males who can save you. Of those fluffy women, only those who are very nice to men will be chosen to be saved. A decade from now, you'll be an anti-feminist if you remain a fluffy in your mentality. So, at school, don't drop math. Study something that will make Masculists respect you, so that you know that you will not parasite on them, and that you have a strong, sincere conviction that a fluffy is a parasite, immoral, a slaver of men, and deserves to rot on the shelf. Then some Masculists might be interested in you as an equal partner. But if you don't become a true FIP, then you may be doomed to a lonely, miserable, poor, childless, manless, loveless half-life. I hope you are scared and convert yourself into a true FIP before it's too late for you. And I hope you'll persuade your fluffy friends that the male rebellion is growing and growing. The days of the fluffies are numbered. The primary Masculist goal is to wipe them out, and we can do that easily simply by refusing to have relationships with them. If fluffies want to eat, they'll be forced to become FIPs. Pretty soon, for any woman who gets the reputation amongst her friends that she's a fluffy, that will be the kiss of death for her in terms of getting a man. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Website, email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. And that is now the end. Ciao.